beautiful day with Farzana Ali and Natasha Haq. Natasha Haq is CEO of International Learning System by IPC. Natasha, welcome to 101 Incredible.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Natasha. And we are quite excited and privileged to have this conversation with you.
And same goes for me.
Natasha, let's start with your personal profile.
Basically, I had been into education for years. Ever since I was a student, I used to, go and I had a passion for teaching. So when I started my journey, it was like a teaching the early years, teaching the young learners and all. And after that, I went into coordination. Then I had this trip to London where I had been selected as a crash supervisor. And then I had been conducting different sessions to the early learners and all. From there, I explored that I could just go into teaching and opening up a venture where I can just train my young learners, not only academics, but other activities, including, a lot of other things like on multiple intelligence centers. So from there, I started my journey. So if I just look at the back, I had been into teaching, coordination, and never had thought that would get into education and now, carry on as a, I would say, entrepreneur for the early learning.
Natasha, now since you're entrepreneurs and you're running your own system and you have international exposure too, so what is the difference that you feel that still we have to achieve, and what is the milestone that still needs to be achieved in Pakistan?
What I weigh is that we lack a certain professionalism. So professionalism is very important in terms of everything, be it we parents, be it we teachers, be it we other workers. We need to be very vigilant in certain trainings and all, and we have to see and look into things that should be run professionally. It can be any department. So if we have a passion for anything, we should take keen interest in everything in order to, do a proper professional execution.
So, Natasha, when you must be working into the system and you were working at different posts as a coordinator, as a teacher, and there must be some gaps or learning gaps or some sort of implementation that you must have been, thinking for longer time to implement into your own system.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that now you are successful to do that in your own system?
What I feel is that you have to give empowerment to your employees in order to make them own the project and all. That is how we've been seen, because employees are conditioned, they are just following a behavioristic approach in which they have to do what they're ordered to. So in my opinion, if you start making the employee feel that they own the project, give them proper trainings, practical trainings, not the literal one, not the typical bookish ones. So they are more into it. Once your employee, your teachers, who are the right tools, they are actually given the right confidence, they can just follow your rules, your vision and everything, and they can be into the right execution thing. Secondly, I feel that we are typically following a stereotypical, that is a set of rules in Pakistan. What I think we need to explore, we need to add more things to our education systems, liberty, the freedom of expressions. And our parents or no one has to dictate us that we have to be into a certain profession, or we have to choose the subjects which they like. We have to see that students follow their own passion.
Well, Natasha, so what actually makes unique or different international learning system than its competitors?
Yeah. International learning systems, also founded by Mr. Hor Hassan, who's also one of the board of directors. Our vision to take this system was that our child should not be a robot. He should go into a lot of activities, explore themselves. That is the reason I've, added a lot of clubs to it. And these clubs are not for the sake of activities only. They are conditioned and they are embedded in our academic program, mainly Brain Gym, that is a brain and cognitive stimulating program. Then we have this STEM, which is not only robotics, it's about the building materials that makes a student creative. Other than swimming, we take our kids to the riding clubs, we take our kids to Culinary Club, that is Gotham. So regardless he's a boy, regardless she's a girl, regardless of any of the gender differences, our child is doing the kitchen activities, they're going for writing clubs, along with a strong academic curriculum. So that is where we stand out. Our mission is not to make money, to make money. It's not a commercial project. We have to actually impart education to the young learners.
Well, Natasha, over the past couple of years, the dynamics of education are completely changed. So what is your take on that? Where do you see the education sector in Pakistan?
Yes, I believe that education is no more rote learning, it's no more bookish language. Whatever a child learns, a child should learn through activities, through practical knowledge. I even take my kids to trips, small trips, to visit the places and actually see how those places look like. For example, if our thematic unit is barnyard animal, they must go to Polo Club to see the habitats of the animals, how they live, how they actually look like, even for a child who's 2.5 and 3.5. So the practical knowledge is very important. It's no more bookish, it's no more rote learning. And a child needs to explore. If he has a passion for engineering, he will start building blocks from the young years. So, it starts from a very young time. You need to explore what a child is. Your child might be IT smart, he might be culinary, he might be spatial smart. So he or she should pursue whatever their passion is.
Natasha, since you are a mompreneur, so any message that you want to give to the mom for parenting?
Mothers can be workers too. It's a very preconceived notion that a woman cannot balance the home life and the work. They can very well do that. Once they're at home, they should totally be confined on their kids. In fact, they should train their kids to do the multitasking in a very justified manner. So when it's work, you should be totally focused on work, and I think you can very easily manage both the work life and the motherhood, and also train your kids accordingly. Being an educationist, you can't just restrict yourself to a certain project. You have to impart that education to your kids, to your students, and that is what your role is. You're just like having a helicopter point of view.
Natasha, you were a teacher, a coordinator, and you're heading a system. So you must be, a role model for a number of students to whom you taught, and they must be, they used to become like Natasha, many girls. So what inspires Natasha? And why?
I had been from a business family, and what I've noticed is that if you are into work, I agree that workaholism is not very healthy, but to a certain extent, it makes you find your own identity. So you have to keep this thing in mind, that you have to explore yourself. You can't just go. You come into the world and you can't just go like this. You have to have your imprints. So my inspiration has always been my family background. My father had always been very supportive. My brothers always believed in me. My mother had been a mentor since she was working. So all these things definitely influence my personality.
Message to young learners.
Travel, be happy, be content, and be comfortable in your own skin. There is nothing that should stop you. There's nothing that should, make you feel restricted. Explore yourself. Life is too short. Just be happy, enjoy yourself. You should know your limits, discipline yourself, but you should excel in every field, whatever you do.
How do you maintain work-life balance and home life balance?
When I go home, I give complete time to my kids who are still young. I help them in their assignments. I'm never tired to take them out. I'm never tired to take them out on the excursions. I always ensure that I take breaks from work for a certain period of time and take them and have a very good time. So it's not about giving the whole day to your kid. It's about giving the quality time. So I think we do spend quality time together, me and my kids.
Thank you very much, Natasha. It was a beautiful time with you today.
Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure.